Welcome
blinding.
to Yo Dom. I was doing the intro. You start talking. Yo Dom, over here. Hey Dom, hey.
Yo, Dom.
Sounds just like that. There you go.
Cha-ching. How you doing, man?
Steve Simeone, how are you?
I'm
Steve
honored
Simeone?
to be here.
Looks like a prisoner. I never do it again, I promise.
So if it's 90 degrees here in Philly, what is it in Florida right now?
Oh, it's blazing.
I don't think it always works that way.
People don't want to live here. That's how hot it is. It's like the tropics.
And you know, all the people from Philly that like are heavily against Florida, they always talk about the bugs. Did you ever notice that?
Oh yeah.
They shit on it because of the bugs. Oh, too many bugs down in Florida. Too many bugs
jump
down.
at you.
But they don't talk about the cockroaches walking around in South Philly that are just they look like baseballs.
Dude, there's something miserable about everything. So you just got to pick your poison and go. What can you live with?
I haven't seen you that much since the panic. She brought us food and shelter. Thank you.
Oh, during COVID?
Yeah.
Oh, Simeone, you're a classic guy.
It was an honor and a pleasure. I was like, this is what you do.
He went up against Eleanor, who was bringing us food too.
I saw Eleanor on Friday. She looks great.
Hey, don't worry about how she looks. keep your eyes on the road, all right? Tough guy.
I brought her some of my mom's lasagna. You guys, when you come to Florida, you got to let my mom cook for you. She lives for it.
You got to twist my arm.
Yeah.
I don't miss a meal, cuz.
Not only do I not miss a meal, I hate to waste a hungry. Like if I'm hungry and I eat something that's not the best, I feel like I wasted it.
I feel like that's not there's no more awkward spot than when you go to an Italian woman's house and you're full and she offers you food.
I have a buddy.
It's bad energy.
Dude, I have a buddy of mine, Big Mike. He's 6'4", 415 pounds. My mom starts cooking 3 days before he shows up. She loves him. She's like, Big Mike's coming. All right, and then it's your
living in the fast lane, baby. Living in the fast lane.
It's the absolute best. She just keeps on feeding them, and it's like I don't know who's happier, Mike or my mom.
Where are you doing stand-up? Mostly around here? How do we see you?
Mostly Florida. I'm trying to put together a new hour. So BT over at Side Splitters has been really good to me. That's a great room. And then he just opened up another room, a smaller room. So I was able to jump on Eleanor's show last weekend. Then there's a tiny little club. Steve, it's like the room you were talking about, that 80-seater you were talking about at Governor's.
The Giggle Room?
Yeah, it's a little tiny spot in the middle of nowhere, Florida, called Winter Haven, Florida. And it's perfect. The guy that opened it up, it's only been there a year. The guy that opened it up, super cool. He's a comic. It's got low ceilings. It probably seats 80 people. And I'm able
to the Laugh Out Lounge?
Yes, it is. Exactly.
The Laugh Out Lounge. I'm not that smart. I just Googled it, This is it.
It's a great little room.
Yeah, that's cool. Is Winter Haven, that's like kind of near Disney, but like not, right? It's like in the middle of the state somewhere.
Exact middle of nowhere.
Yeah, middle of nowhere. Yeah, that's cool. Nice. And are you on the East or West Coast?
Right in the middle. I'm in between Tampa and Orlando. So I fly out of both airports.
Got it.
There's a lot of clubs in Florida, right? Tons.
Yeah.
It's a big state. It's huge.
Uh-huh.
You go to Disney World a lot?
What's that?
You go to Disney World a lot? I try and go there once a week, no matter where I am.
Never been.
If I'm unhappy, boom, I'm happy.
Disneyland, Anaheim, right?
Disney World. What did I say?
No, I'm saying Disneyland. You have Disneyland. He has Disney World.
What a world this is, huh? The Russians are shooting at each other, and we're talking about Disney World. Perfect.
Dom, check out my shirt, buddy. I was going to surprise you.
Ouch.
Who's that guy?
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, it's amore.
You look the same, buddy. Look at that. My man, same smile, cuz. Look at that.
Makes you want to kill yourself.
What part? That you don't look like that, or that Steve has you on a shirt?
Yeah. I got no reaction to that. Just move the show. Let's move everything along like nothing happened. No images putting her head.
You might buy one of those. I honestly think you should sell those. And you put Big Petey, Little Petey, and Orthopedic Petey on the back. Joey Bag of Donuts. I'm in.
I did this to support Dom, and I'm gonna. If we get some people that want them, we're gonna definitely shoot them out.
You gotta give him 20% of every shirt.
Support Dom and his 50-year-old jokes.
I remember you act better than you do. I remember.
That wasn't an insult.
I remember asking you questions. You're like, how do you remember that? I'm like, but you're Dom Irrera. Kid, take it easy.
Look what it got me. An interview with you. How beautiful the world can be.
Steve, what's your favorite Dom Irrera bit? Which one is it? Mine's is the I like the smoking, bad habit, the smoking. And he's just spit. Yeah. That's so good.
Mine's Pepe, the 77-year-old arthritic busboy. You don't think maybe he deserves that
was about Michael Jordan. He hadn't done it in 7 years yet.
Bruce Springsteen, great guy. Bruce Springsteen should be a great guy. He makes hundreds of millions of dollars doing what he loves. You know, he should have a tinge of an attitude problem. Pepe, the 77-year-old arthritic busboy. Maybe he should be a little upset with the hand life dealt him. You don't think
you're trying to get me burst out in tears?
What do you mean?
I root for whoever I feel like. You think when I was a starving comic in New York, the Sixers were passing around the hat in the locker room, Bobby Jones. When I'm eating, what was it, top ramen and tattered underpants? Do you think Dr. J was passing around the hat for Dom Irrera?
Make sure we book him again if I'm feeling down.
Tattered underpants. And then I just got nervous because, like, you're my friend, but then you're still Dom Irrera. And that's the weirdest thing to me. Like, I remember listening to WIP whenever they would tease you like it was Santa Claus at the end of the Macy's parade. Thursday, Dom Irrera in the studio. Wednesday, Thursday, and there would be countdown. And then I just remember howling, me and my dad, like pounding the kitchen table, like Henry Hill in the showers of Goodfellas. Like,
who was the guy that does all the impressions?
What's that?
The guy that does all the impressions.
Joe Conklin.
Yeah, Joe Conklin.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I was busting his chops because he's doing the Queen and the Wizard of Oz. So one of the West, whatever the West was, you know.
The Wicked Witch of the West.
Move on, Jesus Christ! How long you gonna milk with a Wizard of Oz?
I did get starstruck when I met him. He was the first comedy album I ever bought, and you were the first comic I ever saw live. I think it was you.
Am I dead? I'm here. I'm right here. You know.
I get. You know, it's an honor. Sometimes do that.
Dom, what were you saying about Michael Jordan? That one of those jokes was about Jordan. Is that what you were saying?
It's because people were saying he deserves the ring. I said, like juxtaposed like this lady who has 7 kids, she doesn't deserve something in life, you know.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I really feel that way about some of these fucking athletes. It's like, yeah, I'm sorry he didn't win that, but check the people in the first house there, you know.
Yeah.
Oh God, I'm so deep. I'm so rich.
So enriched.
I see the gift
That's
bag.
That's amazing.
I see the gift bag in the back, Tom. Is that a gift bag over there?
Where?
In the back over there, there's a gift bag. I was going to say, did I miss your birthday or what?
Your other shoulder.
There's a gift bag. Yeah, there's a gift bag behind you. Looks like there's some expensive stuff in there, cuz.
I don't know what it is. It's going to blow.
It's ticking.
Do you have anything on you that might be construed as a weapon? Well, I certainly hope so.
That was one of my jokes?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, you said my favorite bits. I could do it all. I remember watching you at the Comedy Store.
I remember when I was an infant. My mother would put me to sleep to your bits.
After you followed Argus and you said, give it up to Argus for almost making you laugh.
Oh, took to the rim.
Steve, did
I've
you
never
ever
seen anybody-
Steve, did you ever follow Dom at the store?
I don't think so.
No.
No.
That's when they bring out an orchestra. They have to play for a while.
I remember Joey Diaz saying that Dom was the toughest follow. He was like, Steve Simeone, you know what it was like driving over that hill, knowing you had to follow Dom Irrera. You were just going to eat it for 15 minutes. That was Mitzi's plan. She made me a soldier.
I love Joe. Joe's a character. He's one of these guys. Hello, how you doing? Good. How you doing? Good. All right. I'll talk to you later. So it's all conversation with him.
That's nice though. You know, he cares about you that way. That's
Oh,
a good conversation.
No
You don't want him
bullshit.
to go too deep into it. You know.
You're right. Where you been, man? Did you sit down the whole time?
Me?
Hey, we got Adam Ray to come in.
Oh, nice.
But what about you? Huh? What about you? You're here now.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Just some more of my act.
Exactly. at least that act works.
What's your favorite bit that you do?
I don't have one.
He says sullenly. Well, yeah, you want me to give you one of mine? Nobody saw it.
I can't believe you didn't play Governors yet, Simone. That's crazy. It was all, dude. It was like before you logged in, Dom. I was catching up with Steve, and I told him how the setup was. They got the main room and the small room in the corner.
I haven't seen that.
What was it set up like that? Was it always like that?
No.
From the outside, it don't look like much.
They should about 80 people, maybe a little room.
Well, in the side room, it was like 80, but the big room sat like 275.
Oh, damn! Really?
Yeah,
275. That's a lot of people in the club.
It was pretty big, but from the outside, it looks like an old like auto body or a garage.
Yeah, you would never.
You would never guess.
But the guy who runs the place, he's a great guy.
Yeah, he was funny. James. His
James,
name was.
His suit and his tie.
Very
Looks
nice
like
guy.
He just killed a couple guys last week. Don't say anything.
Dom, you said that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
It's all in jest, my friend.
He definitely dressed to the nines every show.
He looked good.
Yeah.
He looked sharp.
He's got everybody in his family working there now. His daughter, his sons. I love that. Nepotism at its finest. It's the way the world should be, right?
Yeah, it should be. You should always put your friends on, your friends and your family. You know,
I'll tell you what, you always get better service at a family business.
that's true.
When you walk into one of these chain restaurants or whatever, it's a disaster. Nobody cares.
A comedy don't always work that way. Chris Rock and his brothers don't work together, right? You don't see that in comedy very often. You don't see them work.
Him like it.
No, I'm just.
No, but you went after him. I mean, he's trying.
No, it's an observation. Tony Rock don't open for Chris Rock, right? It don't work like that. Family with every business.
I don't know what their deal is. I've never even seen them together. Maybe one of them should get smacked.
Maybe it's the same guy.
I'm still fucking mad at Will Smith or whatever his name is. He's a Philly guy. Is he Philly? No, I don't know.
Yeah, he's from Philly. Yeah. West Philly. Yeah.
West Philly, Overbrook.
What a prick.
We should get him on the show, and we can yell at him.
Let me tell you something. I watch that now, and it's awkward.
Yeah,
it was so bizarre.
The fact that people stayed there and took like half the room was gone. Well, what's his name? McCullough, Sulu McCullough. He was a writer on it. What do you say? Good shot. It's fucking. That's about a year for that, right?
Well, where I felt bad is like the people that won awards and had to follow that.
Oh yeah,
it was like being over your friend's house when you were a kid and their parents get into a fight and then talk to like what's going on. You're like, hey, you want to go play Star Wars, bro? No, I just want to leave. My mom's cooking. I don't care. We got food at my house. Can I leave?
That happened a lot growing up in South Philly.
Oh,
That is a great observation.
that's
So true. But I'm saying, imagine like winning an award, everything you worked for your whole life. After that, you have to go up and tell a speech. That's your moment.
I won an award called the Ace Awards, and then, I'm serious. I was in the bathroom talking to Gary Shandling, and they're going, and the cameraman they go, Dom, you're up. So I was so late to receive it. They go, here you go. I went, oh, thanks a lot. I didn't have time to say. They were pulling me off.
It was
fucking chance of glory, and I missed it.
What what was it for? What show? It was like a cable show that you did, right?
The HBO special I did.
Oh.
Ask me how I did.
Dom, how'd you do?
I don't want to talk about it because it would be conceived to bragging, and it was not bragging, but something special.
I heard you killed. That's what I heard.
Nah, I'm not kill. Well, yeah, maybe a little.
What's killing? What is killing? What's considered?
To me, killing is the audience stands up and gives you in the middle of your act because you're so good. This whole thing, because they looked at some guy said. I heard him say this when he was getting paid by the club owner. He goes, the club owner said, how'd you do? He goes, they were very polite. That's not what we came here to. We went a little more than that.
They were attentive. They were very attentive.
Yeah, exactly.
They listened. Oh man!
But you ever have a crazy one where you got kicked out before the thing was over?
Well, like an audience member?
Yeah. I had a couple of them when I offended somebody's wife, the president, and she's screaming, and I had to get out past her screaming and get my check.
You left.
I left.
Who was it? The president's wife?
No. This is. There's two different things, but the one that was the worst of these women, those saris they wear from Pakistan and all.
Yeah.
When the women were sitting there, and this guy, like he was having a heart attack, he grabs his checks and goes, "You can't believe this! You said this in front of my people." And then I ran out. I got the money. It was like $2,500.
Oh, it was a private gig, like a private.
I said to the guy, the guy who booked it, I said, "Are you sure? I said, are you sure you saw me?" Oh yeah. To pinch a love to copy. I said, yeah. It didn't work for two lines. Boom, I was out of there.
I never hear good stories with those private parties or like corporate gigs. Are they ever fun, Simone?
I did one in Philly for a sports agent's son's wedding last year, like during the NLCS. So we were watching the Phillies game at the bar downstairs, and they were winning, and then went upstairs, and it was great because it was like a nice family, and they were all Philly people. It was great.
So you don't mind shows like that? Sometimes they could be hell gigs, can't they?
Oh, sometimes they're a disaster. They have no concept. Like you were talking about that Giggles room or whatever, the small room, 80 seats, and it's set up perfect for comedy. I did a corporate in Orlando where the stage was like one of those like TED Talk stages, like a giant stage with a movie screen behind you and stuff. But the closest table was like 100 yards away, and it was the big circular tables, and there was a buffet in the background, and it was like performing in an airplane hangar. It was terrible. And they had a dance floor between me and the tables, and I just just give me the check. I'm here for the money. Goodbye.
Well, my cousins booked me. I did Sons of Italy, so I had to do them a favor.
That's great.
They didn't have there was no stage, so I'm standing there. When I usually, at least there's a stage, you're taller than I'm like shorter than a lot of guys. I'm talking. Hey, you ever noticed? It's fucking horrible. Yeah, we'll put you over there in the corner. It's perfect. No, it's not perfect. We need a stage.
They thought you were plating the pasta.
It is amazing how little things you need for a successful comedy show, and there's clubs that don't even get it. The lights are right, the microphones, they don't seat the room right. It's just basics, and they don't even do that.
I like condense and tight.
Yeah,
like I think Helium in Philly has a great setup because you're like breathing on top of each other. you're sitting with strangers. Like when it's wide, when it's a wide room, I feel like it's tougher.
Yeah.
Because you can converse in your own element when it's big like that. You know, people can easily get distracted, or like the wide rooms tend to be the toughest.
Yeah, because
No,
I think
I mean,
no, I think you're right. Like
No.
when they're all close together, if there's one good laugher, he'll get other people laughing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's all I usually get. Mr. Here's one. All I need is one.
you're full of shit. Dom, you like big rooms, or you like it more tight?
I'd rather have a bigger room. I don't like. What I hated was that gig we did with the folding chairs.
Oh, Philly
Talk about
Live.
uncomfortable fucking
Philly
moment.
Live. Casinos usually have good setups, though, right?
Well,
Yeah,
this was a ballroom.
The Borgata is kind of like that too, though. You know, I mean, it's like a ballroom with like they have the stadium seats, but they have like the same. They're not folding.
That's their big room. I did the 1,000-seater. There's a 4,000 where they had like the Eagles and all that.
That's cool.
Not the football players, the group.
The band, the band.
Take it easy.
So
I saw Seinfeld there at the Borgata. That was a couple months ago.
How was he?
Amazing. Yeah, it was great. It was an all new hour. He said he's coming out with a movie on Netflix about the creation of the Pop-Tart. That's the new movie he's putting out. It has to do with a bit that he wrote. He has this bit about how excited he was as a kid when the Pop-Tart came on the market, and he wrote a movie script about it. So
how was the bees thing? I never saw that.
I never saw it either. The bee movie, right?
Yeah.
He did the voiceover.
He wrote it. No, he wrote that. That was his movie.
Really?
He wrote and produced that movie. I never saw it.
Yeah, Seinfeld hasn't done much acting since Seinfeld, right?
I think he gets residuals on the show that he did 20 years ago.
Oh yeah, he does. Yeah, he definitely does.
Counting money. That's
Yeah. He prints it.
My cousins. I was working in Atlantic City, and it's a 1,000-seater. And my cousins are, 12 years old. They go, Uncle Dom, how much do you make for this? I said, what do you think I make? He goes, I don't know, a couple million. Couple million. I said, look at this place. It's 1,000 people. You know how expensive to get to 100? Are you crazy? Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought it was like a big deal or something. Not that big a deal. No.
Don't have $100 million. Not that big a deal.
I heard Leno on a podcast say that he never spent his Tonight Show check. And he lived off his stand-up his whole life.
That's because he never put out any food, right, Dom? Did he tell us that? He never offered a meal to anybody. That's why he's got so much money. He's a cheap bastard.
Seinfeld, when I moved there, Seinfeld was showing me the ropes, and one was to go up to his Leno's house. But I said, Jared, the last time I was here, he had no food. Let's buy some food, because he probably has some. And we said, you got any food? He goes, yeah, we're fine. You know what his food was? The Doritos. He had commercials. The whole place was packed with Doritos. Cheap fucking guy. Nobody had food. For an Italian, started having anxiety attacks. My hands were sweating. Can you imagine? Well, he's half Scottish and half Italian, I think. But he ain't that much Italian.
I remember when we did that gig for the Flyers, the Claude Giroux Foundation.
Oh yeah.
I just knocked on your door and I had a roast pork sandwich. I was in town for 10 minutes. It was like, Mr. Irrera.
Where was that? The Spectrum?
We did that at that was at Helium.
Oh, was it? Oh yeah.
That was a really fun gig.
I never got into hockey either. Never appealed to me at all. It's fun to watch in person. Like the live hockey games are fun, but it's too quick on TV. It's just like
playoff hockey when your team's winning. There ain't nothing like it, man.
That's
when they start beating the shit out of each other, and oh my god, I like physical sports. Not because I'm from Philly. I just football is my number one game in my opinion.
I like pro football.
Yeah.
Not just football, the pros.
I never got into college. But
Yeah.
no, not in.
We know that. We know that.
college
We know,
football.
Steve. We know.
Brian, you just shut your mouth. You're getting really tough over there. What the fuck?
Hey, oh,
That's a great expression. You're really tough.
they're going at it again.
Dom makes fun of me because I use that quote, Steve. I'll throw him through a wall. He says
great.
a lot. He says a lot of people use that loosely.
Have you ever seen a hole in a wall? That's definitely a person. That's where the hands were.
It's just like
My buddy Joe threw me through a wall in college.
Did he? No, he didn't. You're full of shit.
No, it was cheap.
I gotta hear this story. Where you was drunk?
I don't even remember what we were doing. I just remember being nervous, and my buddy Noor had to patch it up. And then once I ran through a wall in the library in college for laughs because it was like I got up. It was like kind of fancy, and
where did you go to school?
It, and I was just an idiot that wanted friends, and I was like, you don't think I'll smash it? And I ran through the wall, and I got so scared. I didn't think I'd go through it like the Kool-Aid man. I just popped off and I walked out. I didn't even say a word to any of my friends. I just left the scene.
I was telling you, I got these guys talking about drinking and fighting. And this guy, I said, when's the last time you had a fight? He goes, I don't know. So what grade were you in? He goes, second grade. How can you still talk about that second grade? You're fucking 45 years old.
I remember when I was working at the gym in Hollywood and you came in and you had just gotten off the phone with the legendary Mr. Bud Friedman. And he was talking about being from Brooklyn or something or tough or whatever. And you were like,
oh, yeah. He says, I'm from the Bronx. I said, but you're also 75 years old. You live, the geography doesn't matter at this point. You're lucky you're standing.
Oh shit!
classic.
That's good, man.
Dom Irrera, everybody.
Oh,
that's
I'll be at Slappy Bananas tomorrow night.
Who's booking that?
Yeah, right.
I get a guest spot.
Yeah.
You work all clean, right?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Steve, did you ever work dirty? Like in the beginning?
Yeah. Of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good though. They pulled that out. I mean, you could do like Brian Reagan has a good reputation, and he's funny.
Yeah, he's great. He's awesome. I'm not as talented as Brian.
What made you switch it up, Steve?
There was a few reasons. It was I remember when my first album came out, and I sent a couple to my mom, and it was like my material was already pretty much clean, but there was just like a couple strategically placed F-bombs. My mom, my family's cool, but my mom couldn't play it for her friends. And I was like, oh, that kind of hurt a little bit. Because it was like, I was in the 14 years of starving in LA. At least I wanted to make my parents happy. And I didn't. And then, so that sort of planted the seed, like do something that my mom could appreciate. And then I started to volunteer at Children's Hospital.
Mm-hmm.
And they were sort of like treating me like I was a celebrity, but I wasn't a celebrity. So I was like, I better make sure I clean my act up in case somebody, because some people are just uptight and they can find a clip or something. And then
you didn't want him to say something kind of about it. Yeah, I got you.
I have a buddy. My buddy Tony is like super Catholic, and I was getting and he works for like a Catholic production company, and he was like, I can't really, I don't know. So I gave up cursing one year for Lent. I gave up cursing on stage for
I'm
Lent.
sure God really appreciated that.
Yeah, well, I was trying to do something, and it changed everything. I was like, I don't need to do this. And then that was at the point, too, when I was like trying to get corporate gigs, and I hated that anxiety I would feel before I went on stage where even if it was just opening up for somebody, like some headliners would be like, I don't want the feature to curse. I'm going to be the one that curses. So I'd be like, get anxiety before I went on stage. Like, can I do this bit? Can I do that bit? So then I just started to work clean. That's it.
Seinfeld told me that he felt pain in a corner, that he couldn't be dirty. Like, we were at the Comedy Magic Club one night. Gary Shandling was there, And he,
What a show. Shanley, Seinfeld, and Irrera.
well, no, but Gary said they were booing Jerry when he said, funny in a funny way, but not. And Barry said, "Why?" He said, "Gary said, why are they doing that?" And he said, "Because they expect him to be clean."
Yeah.
I said, "Well, you would be like you're just the opposite." Because you think I'm dirty? I said, you're filthy. And he got really like, Barry was so nuts. Gary was so nuts. He walked around like, I don't think I'm that fucking dirty. Oh, and I said, fuck shit. Like he was just, because Jerry did, he says he wishes he was not, he wish he wasn't just, what's the word?
Like clean?
Icy clean.
Yeah, so he felt like he was for a box.
His dirty stuff is great though. I think it's awesome. I mean, when you do hear it, like in the show that I saw, he had some material that was definitely, like blue or whatever, and it's good. His dark stuff I think is, because you also don't expect it, I guess, from him.
Yeah.
So it's good. But he cursed, but also very rarely in his show, maybe 3 or 4 times. But it was, it was.
I'm surprised he did.
What's that?
I'm surprised he did it that much. I was watching his HBO special when he first came back. He got heckled at Governors, and he didn't know what to do because he hasn't been heckled in 40 years.
Yeah, right.
It was a really awkward moment. Hey, what do I got to do? Anybody ever see that?
It was. Did he leave it in his special? The heckle?
I think he did. Yeah, they might have cut it out after that, but. I'm pretty sure I saw him do it.
On the documentary Comedian when he came back.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was trying to build an act.
Oh yeah, it was when he was building his hour, right?
Yeah.
That one. Yeah. Oh, okay. When was the last time you got heckled, Dom? You had a heckler.
I don't know. Not usually. I get that where they do one of my bits to me. Hey, dude, enjoy a bag of donuts, and I go, well, how's it going to be funny when you just gave a punchline? Like, there's I don't usually get like guys going, "You suck," because
right,
because I'm so gigantic.
Because you're so huge.
I stopped in the middle and I clung there. That's what I did in my life.
Like, what's the craziest thing you ever seen at the store? You guys, like, you hear about all these crazy stories.
Well, I said people with guns out and stuff. It was crazy
in the showroom.
And the cocaine days, people were just crazy. You were there for some of that, Steve.
I was there the first Friday after September 11th, and Freddie Soto, God rest his soul, was on stage. And he started to get heckled by a gang member. And the guy was like calling Freddie a coconut, right? He was like, "Hey, coconut." So then we're trying to break it up. And I remember Mike Duffy, who's now like a pretty big producer. He was a door guy at the store then. He's a Philly guy. We jump and we're 2 little guys. We're trying to hold this dude back. There was no real security at the store then. Then we sort of get everything calmed down. But then this monster out of the back who had literally just gotten out of Chino or something. Guy was like 6'4", tattooed all over. Then he started a fight again with the guy for starting the fight, but we couldn't do anything to him other than we kicked out the little guy and let the big guy take the little guy's seat. We got a better seat out of it. I was like, I'm not getting choked out for $5 an hour. And then later that night in the original room, Eddie Griffin was on stage. And we had a door guy, God bless him, my buddy Don, who was a legit tough guy. I was managing that night. And he goes, "Simone, I'm telling you, if these guys say another word, I'm going to war." And there was a street gang in there, like 8 dudes in the back of the OR. Don goes over, he moves the table, he grabs the one guy, everybody else jumps on top of him. All the door guys froze. I go, "That's it. Tables are going, classes." I jump in, I go, "Call the cops." I turned on the house lights. Show was over. And it was like a scene in a Western movie where people are swinging chairs. It was like a bar room. The whole original room went out. me and Don, I'm just trying not to get hit, and I'm throwing guys out.
Yeah.
And then Brett Ernst to the rescue. Brett Ernst was there with like one of his buddies from South Florida, and they get in the middle of the mix, and they were literally back to back, just throwing shots.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
Cops were called if you got warrants, they're putting cuffs on you. Get out of here. Get out. It was chaos.
Remember the night Kirk Douglas's kid went off on black guys? Remember that?
No.
Well, they didn't do anything. He was like going to call him every name, and he goes, "Look, this is just fucking comedy." I'm thinking, no, it ain't. It's fucking hate. And then one kid would go on stage, and they didn't hit him. He had his puppy on his. They didn't punch him. They punched the puppy.
What?
Right? And then they took the whole thing outside. You never heard this name?
No.
The cops
Punched
knew
the
who he
puppy?
was. They punched the fucking puppy. Yeah.
Oh.
Talk about an ugly moment. My dog.
What kind of dog was it?
Oh, like I don't know, one of those little poodles with a lot of shit in their fucking hair. And I don't know. It was a gay dog. It was a little.
I remember my favorite cop story at the Comedy Store. This was like probably 20 years ago. And like you know this, Dom, but like the Comedy Store is kind of like an orphanage for grown-ups. Like nobody has anywhere to go, especially in
Yeah.
And we had closed the club down. It was back when Peter was still living behind the store. And Dave Scott, there was a manager at the time who was like a really nice guy, but like super clean cut, like former Army Ranger guy, wore glasses. And he'd be like, "Yes, sir. No, sir." And he was like the perfect guy managing the club for all the lunatics. And he closed down the club. It's probably about 2:00 in the morning. And nobody really had anywhere to go. So we were still just hanging out in the parking lot. And after about like 15 minutes, the alarm went off in the building. And Dave goes, "Ugh," because we thought it was probably a comedian sleeping in there. Does that make sense? So he just wanted to turn it off before the alarm woke up Peter Shore. So he runs in, turns off the alarm, comes back to hanging out in the parking lot, and West Hollywood Sheriff rolls up. And they shine the lights on us. And they were like, and you know, Dave's the perfect, you know, he's like, "Hello, officer. And I'm the manager of the building. Is this in response to the alarm?" And the cops were like, "Yeah, we got to go check it out. Do you mind letting us in the building?" Sure. So Dave walks him around the back when you would walk down the alley behind the store to had that lock, like a one-way lock. So he lets the two cops in, and he goes, "You know what? We better stay here in case they arrest." I'm not going to mention the comedian's name who was homeless at the time. So we're hanging out there, and then another cop car shows up. They were like, they're chasing somebody. So Dave lets them back in. So now we stay in the building with the other cops at the back of the OR steps. And you could hear 4 cops running, like with their keys and stuff, like in those Rovers, like, "We got a 10-10 in progress." And like you hear like, "Freeze," like all that stuff. We're like, what's going on?
Oh, jeez.
So we're like, just say you're a comedian. Why are you running, you idiot? So as that's going on, third unit pulls up, and this dude looks like he played defensive end in college. 6'5". He ducks under the door, got the cop haircut. And he goes, "Which way?" And we just point to the steps. It's him and another guy. So now there's 6 cops running through the whole blacked out Comedy Store. After about 20 minutes, they come down the steps all single file, you know? And the ship supervisor was like, he's taking his little notepad out, and Dave Scott's like, "Well, what was the issue, officer?" And he goes, "I don't know how we're going to write this up." He goes, "We for sure were chasing somebody, but as soon as we cornered him and put our lights on him, it's like he disappeared in front of our eyes."
Oh, God.
And Dave goes, "Well, you know, this is the most haunted building in Hollywood." With that, the big cop that was at the back of the line goes, "I told you!" And he pushed everybody out of the way and ran out the back door like Scooby-Doo.
I haven't heard that story, but I've heard other stories about the store about that.
Oh, yeah. We used to bless ourselves when we walked by and he was doing some devil material or whatever. Me and this guy, Mark King.
Groceries when I was in there.
Yeah, what do you guys think about LA with that? Because they're always, every time I go there seems like there's some weirdness out there. There's some weird energy in the air.
Well, if there's something, yeah, I felt something. I felt like you go your way, I'll go mine. I didn't fuck with him, whoever it was.
Mm-hmm. put it to you like this. I got my Padre Pio t-shirt on right now. I'm not playing any games. You ask me why I don't curse on stage? I'm playing
Bet you got the babes crawling all over you, huh?
What's that?
What is that? Who is that?
Padre Pio. It's one of my favorite saints.
I'm wearing my favorite saint, Dom Irrera.
That's really nice. Where'd you get that?
I there's a t-shirt guy that comes around the store that I hang at. So I said, can you put this on a shirt? I want to break Dom's balls. He said, you got to buy 6 of them. So I'm going to send you, I'm going to send you one. I'm going to
wear it myself. Yeah.
I'm going to send you one. I'm going to send Brian one. My dad told me I had to give him one.
I'll buy one.
I'm going to send Simone one.
Yeah, I'll buy one.
No, half price.
Give one to Eleanor next time I see her.
Yeah, you should give one to every guest and make them wear it on the show.
I got Rodney on mine. Got about 10 of those.
You got a Rodney shirt?
Yeah.
Who do you think your favorite comedian was? Was it him? Like your favorite person to watch?
Well, he's pretty interesting. I mean, that one thing could carry so much of the weight of anything he does. I mean, he can always go back to that. I tell you, how you doing? Oh, good. Last week was terrible. You know, I don't want to do the impression because people do that so fucking well. But he would never know how much people loved him and, thought about him. Like he was so insecure, he wouldn't believe it. For the guy that famous.
Yeah.
He made a lot of money too. He was still asking for cash sometimes with 50,000. What the fuck? We'll see. Yeah.
Did any clean comics like work out at the store, like a Bill Cosby? Like, was there a lot of that? Or was the store more known for dirty stand-up?
No. I mean, it just went through different phases. Like with Sam Kinison, that was like a gang kind of thing. And he never bothered me. He was fine with me. But there was a group that they hung together. Do you remember any of them?
I got there in 2000. I got there when the only people that hung at the store were the people, like they were like, the show's over. I remember Mike Ricker going, we showed up 15 years too late. Like,
well, it really did go in waves. I mean, when Joe Rogan and Bill Burr and those guys brought it up again, it was amazing because they were dead on their feet.
What year was that those guys were kind of coming up? Was that like around 2000, 2001, or was it before that in the 90s?
Well, Joe was out there, and they used to call him my little ball of anger because I would take him in. They used to when he was angry at the world. I mean, pot and having kids just changed him completely, and it was all positive, all good for him and his family. But it was a different vibe, with Carlos, and it's really good now. Matter of fact, I'll be on the second show Saturday night this week, or I'm going to kill. So, what do you consider? What do you consider coming?
Killing.
Killing.
What do you consider? Simone, what's killing?
I don't know.
Standing O?
I guess so, right? I don't know. I don't know. I just guess when you know. Been a few times where I felt it.
What's the most memorable set you had at the store? Looking back,
I got 2 of them. One, I did get a standing ovation following Louis C.K. about 10 years ago.
Wow!
I want to hear that.
That was awesome. Because I remember Louis gave me a very nice intro.
Did he bump into the lineup? Was he a pop in?
He was a pop in, and he did pretty long. So a lot of the comics kind of left. They didn't want to stick around.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I was sitting in the back as a comedy fan, loving it. And I go to like Jeff Scott or whatever, who's going to have to follow this? And he was like, you. I'm like, me? I got to follow this? Because there was like 4 other names between me and Lou. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I remember when Louis, wrapping up, he goes, who's next? And Jeff Scott, God bless him, God rest his soul, goes, Steve Simeone. And Louis goes, who? And it was a genuine who? Like, and the audience laughed. And he goes, no. He goes, just because I don't know who this guy is, doesn't mean he's not a great comic. And Louis said, he was like, it took me a long time to become a regular at this club. And he goes, so if you're a regular at this club, he goes, it means you're funny. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit in the back of the room and watch this guy. And I want you to show him the same respect that you showed me. Ladies and gentlemen, Steve Simeone. It was a great introduction.
Wow.
And I wound up getting a standing ovation. So that one sticks out. And then the last time I really had a deal, the last time I ever dealt with a heckler aggressively was before I was even passed by Mitzi. They used to call it friends and family, like right after the open mic, and you could do like 5 minutes instead of 3. And I was like trying to do positive comedy in the OR. And these are the dark years of the Comedy Store. And I got heckled by a lady. And this like right around the time I started going back to church. And I start to lean into her, right? And then it dawned on me. I go, and as I'm, attacking her, I go, I don't even know why I'm saying these things, because anybody that'd be as miserable as you, or anybody that would say something that mean to me, has to be very sad on the inside. And you don't need to go after you. What you probably need is a hug. And I'm sorry, I don't know where you've been, whatever. And I'm turning it, and I'm going, I apologize. You don't need my anger. What you need is my compassion. And I would love. And she came up on stage. I gave her a hug instead of, honest to God, true story. The whole audience is going crazy because we had a genuine emotional moment. This lady's holding back tears. And the best thing was there was a waitress there named Joy. Okay. So like 10 years after that really happened, I'm telling the story to a young comic, and Joy, the waitress, turns around. She goes, I was in the audience that night. I saw you do that. And that's why I wanted to become a comedian.
Wow.
So they're my 2 favorite with my sets. And then
I don't think we got anything to borrow. What we do after that story? It's a good story, but I don't know how to follow it. Anybody suggest?
Steve, you got any dates coming up?
I got a couple dates where I'm featuring for my buddies, and then I know in August I'm doing a benefit for the firefighters at Side Splitters. But July I'm doing some shows with Paulie. I'm doing some shows with Ryan Sickler, and that's it. I'm trying to put together the new hour.
And you're starting your podcast that you were talking about. Are you starting that back up?
Yeah, well, I'm actually starting a new podcast about God. It's called Heaven Buddies.
About God?
Yeah, it's like sports talk with God. Because I don't really.
Like what?
Know. It's going to be like sports talk radio, but about God. Just people talking about how they live their faith. That's it.
Cool. Heaven
Awesome.
buddies.
Are you like a fanatic now?
That's a good question. Almost, kind of. Yeah. I really like. I mean, all my friends. I go.
Could you say a prayer for us, please?
Oh, I do all the time. I really do.
Steve, next time you come back, we're going on a food binge.
Dude, there's so many of your South Philly spots I gotta go to.
Thanks for the plug.
Dude, they're awesome. Like, and I want to get a suit from your guy. What's his name? Pasquale?
Yeah.
Pasquale, yeah.
That's Shunk Avenue.
Yeah, I gotta get a suit.
Taking Dom in there. Dom, you got any dates coming up before we close out?
I'm doing the Montreal Comedy Festival. And
Awesome.
I have the wrong dates, I think, but I'm going to go up there and see my ex-girlfriend. Maybe give her a shot or 2. Come on, so
Nice.
I hit it right in the head.
Steve, thank you again. Steve
I
Simeone.
love you guys. Thank you. Mr.
Yo,
Irrera.
Dom, over here.
Bye.
Hey, Dom, hey.
Yo, Dom.